Hi Flosstube, it's Annie from Annie Beez Folk Art. This is my second Flosstube. It's been a while since I made my first one, probably about 6 weeks. Sorry about that. I've been really busy with a lot of life events. My youngest daughter graduated from high school, which is awesome. So the last one is done with school. I'm really excited about that. I've been burned out on being a school mom after 25 years of doing it. So I'm really excited that she's done and she's excited to be done, and so we're all ready to move on. And then so we had her graduation and all the events around that, her party and her commencement and all of that stuff. And then right after that, my mother got sick and she passed away, which was really sad. She was 91, so she had a good long life, and she was definitely, I'm sorry to say, ready to go. She was prepared. I think in this last year she was detaching more and more from life, and so I know, although I'm gonna miss her so much, I know she's in a better place. I'm a believer, so I know she's happy now and at rest, and she's with my dad and my beloved brother, and so I know it's all good, but still it's, my mother, so it's hard. But so we had all of that going on, and finally things have settled down, and I think that we're gonna have a nice calm summer, I'm hoping. And so here I am back with my second video. So anyway, I have a lot to get to today, and so let me just start right out with I'll show you my design work and get that out of the way. So the first thing, in my last video I showed a work in progress, which was called God Save the Queen, and it is finished. So here's God Save the Queen. It's all framed up and ready to go. The pattern is ready, and it has been sent to the distributor and should be hitting stores actually as we speak. It's available this week from the distributor, so you guys should be seeing that in stores and your favorite online 1-2-3 Stitch will have it, and places like that. Here's a little, show you what the pattern looks like. Here's the pattern. So that's all good, ready to go. I'm really excited to have it done. I had a little proofreading help from my friend Joan from Queen of Quite a Lot is her YouTube channel, and she helped me out with some proofreading, which was awesome. And you guys may know Joan, and because she's one of the co-founders of the new Midwest Flosstube Stitchers Retreat that is going to happen in October up in Minnesota. So for all the people in this area, and I'll be going to the retreat, so I'm really excited about that, and I'm excited to meet Joan and Michelle Rudy from Farm Girl and everybody. I think Becky the Obsessed Stitcher is coming, and a bunch of others who I can't remember, I'm sorry. But so it's exciting to be going to a retreat and meeting some other Flosstubers. That's awesome. I've never been on a stitching retreat before. I've belonged to a lot of needlework groups and guilds and things over the years. I used to belong to the Embroiderers Guild of America since like the early 90s. I've been a member on and off. It's hard. I have a hard time getting to the meetings. I've always just been really busy with my family and my 4 kids and all that kind of stuff. So so I belonged to Embroiderers Guild. I belonged to a Sampler Guild before, countless quilt guilds and a wool applique group and a punch needle group and different things like that, but I have never gone on a retreat. So I'm excited to do that. And so happens my sister lives in Minnesota, so I'm going to take part of it at the end. After the retreat is over, I'm going to take a day and go over and see her, so that'll be really awesome. Anyway, so let's see what's next. So that's the design work, and then I'll show you some whips, what I've been working on. So number 1, I'll show you Houses of Hawk Run Hollow, which I barely touched. I think I showed this last time and I don't remember where I was, but I did finish this block here with the balloons and all the tulips and stuff, and that's it. So I don't think I was done with that last time. Let me get back and try to show you the whole thing. Excuse the wrinkles. But anyway, I've worked on this a little bit, not a whole lot. I know I said it was going to be a 2017 finish, so I hope it still will be. I think in the fall I'm going to get back in the mood to work on it. So I worked on that a little bit, and then I didn't really do Stitch Mania. I can't do Stitch Mania. I've already got so many whips. I know that if I did do it, I would just feel overwhelmed, and so I chose not to do it, but I did do, actually kitted one thing, which I didn't start, and then started a kit that I've had for a long time. So the kit that I started is called The Embroideress, and this is by Joanne Harvey from the Exemplary. I've had this kit in my stash for some time. I love it. I love everything about it. I just think it's so beautiful. I love samplers. I am definitely a sampler stitcher. I love band samplers. What I love about band samplers is you get the motif here and then you don't have to look at your chart again and you just work your way across. I love that kind of thing. So I started this, and I'll show you my start. This is a little kind of a scroll rod bag that I made years ago. Isn't this fabric awesome? It's an old Blackbird design fabric. They usually always seem to publish a sampler looking fabric, because I've got a couple more in my stash that aren't as old as this one. Okay, so I'll unroll it so you can see. How much I have done. So I've got this top border, and then a couple of the bands, and then the first row of wording, and then I've started this top big motif. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm a big fan of Joanne Harvey from the Exemplary. Her charts are, for me, they're just really easy to use. She never works on really tiny counts, which I appreciate it. I know people are into that for samplers, and I do think they're beautiful, and I sew on them myself at times. But, you know, if I just want to relax and go, I like her charts. You know, this is like 28 count or something, and look at how beautiful it is. It's just as beautiful as if it was on something tiny. Anyway, so that's the Embroideress. I'd truly love to finish that soon, because I've loved that design for years and years. So I definitely want to hang it in my house. Okay, so there's that whip. And then the next big whip is my Christmas stockings. I know I showed Hideko stocking last time, my granddaughter. So my daughter generously let me take all of the stockings I've made for her family so I can show them all to you today. But first of all, we'll start with Hide. So this is the Jan Lynn. If I have I don't have the picture, but this is a Jan Lynn kit. But I used DMC and I got my own fabric for it. I am down to the toe, so I'm really getting there. There's a few things I have to fill in up here, this one angel and stuff, but it's getting there. So I'll hold it up close so you can see how pretty. This really is a pretty one. So there's my half-finished angel, but the nativity is basically done. And then the verse, and another beautiful band, and then the alphabet, and then here's a beautiful band in the toe. Oh, I just love this. I've really enjoyed working on this. So all I've got left at the bottom, there's just like a little hill and like a lion and a lamb and stuff, so it's almost there. It's almost there. And I want to have it done by July because I have charted a new design, a new stocking design for my daughter's youngest baby, the baby that was just born in March. Her name is May. And I'll show you a quick sneaky peeky of my design. So this is going to be May. It's a sampler style stocking. Really excited about this. This is going to be May's stocking. So you guys get to see a quick. That'll be a new release too, and I hope to have it out by September 1st. So that if anybody wants to stitch it for Christmas, they'll have enough time. And then on that note, I'll show you the rest of the stockings that I did for my daughter's family. So this is my daughter's stocking from when she was little. So this is from the 90s. It's really gorgeous. I think I've done stockings for all of my kids, and I think this is my favorite because it's just so pretty. Look at how pretty that is. I have no idea what chart this is. I think it might have come out of one of those like Leisure Arts Christmas hardcover books that they used to publish back in the 90s. That's my guess is where the chart came from. Isn't it beautiful? It has so many pretty colors. I love it. And my daughter loves it. And look at how well it's held up. And she used this as a child every year. And when I finished it, I used, this is Home Deck taffeta. Hope you can see that. So it's like a home deck weight. It's heavy. And then the back has velveteen. And it's really, really held up over the years. I really like to finish stockings with a home deck weight fabric because it just gives it so much body and makes it really, it'll last. It'll last a lot better than if you just use like a cotton or something or like a calico. Okay, and then, let's see, she got married. And so I made this one for her husband. We call him Bo, but his name is Joshua, his real name. And this is a Mary Beale stocking. One of her sampler stockings. I don't remember which one it is. They're all numbered, like I think there's 12 of them. So this is one of those. I love it. Mary Beale, her work, oh, it's so lush. Anyway, so I'll give you a close-up of Bo's stocking. Isn't that pretty? Look at that. Woohoo! Love it so much. So I made this in 2012 when they got married. And then they had their first daughter. Her name is Amy Wren, my first grandchild. And I did a Mary Beale for her. So here's hers. Here, I'll show you the whole thing. Here's the whole thing. And then the close-up. So she's got angels and pretty pink flowers. Oh, it's so gorgeous. Isn't that pretty? And I think I stitched this, it says 2015. I made Amy's, and then you saw Hide's, and then now and that's their next child who's going to be 2. So Amy is going to be 4, and then Hide is going to be 2, and then they have the baby who's 3 months. And so now I'll be stitching the babies, and they'll all have stockings. So those are my major whip. That's my major whip, is this stocking, and then the one that I'm going to publish, which is for May. And it's just going to be, it's called Band Sampler Stocking right now. That's its working name. So I don't know if I'll change the name when I publish it. Who knows? We'll see. Okay, so those are the basic whips I've been working on. Okay, sorry about that. My camera battery doesn't want to hold a charge for some reason. But anyway, so let me show you my stash acquisitions. I was listening to Fiber Talk, the podcast about needlework. It's mostly about needlepoint and cross stitch, and it's Gary Parr and Christine Williams. And I was listening to that, and they interviewed Nicola Parkman, who I've known her for years, not personally, but online. I used to follow her blog, which was called Stitching by the Cornish Seaside, I think. And she used to, you know, first of all, she'd stitch these beautiful antique reproductions and these big giant projects that would take forever, and her stitching was like perfect and exquisite. And then she would also show all these beautiful pictures of the Cornish seaside, which was amazing. And so I followed her for years, and then she had a blog called the Scarlet Letter Year. And when she did that, everybody, it was like a big stitch along for a lot of people who blog, and people would stitch their favorite Scarlet Letter chart. I did the unicorn, which I'll show you later. I didn't finish it, but you know, I started it. It's got a pretty good start. I am going to finish it one of these days. But anyway, after listening to Nicola's interview with Gary and Christine, I got all inspired and I ordered one of her charts from her new company called Hands Across the Sea Samplers. And so this is the one I got. It's called Elizabeth Beeben, and I just, oh, I love it. It's so gorgeous. If you can see up close, the border, it's like instead of just your regular floral border, there's all this like flora and fauna and a little girl and boy sitting in a chair and just all kinds of creative, interesting things that the little girl Elizabeth put into her sampler. So I just love it. And the chart it's beautifully charted. It's just gorgeous. They did such a good job. Everything's gigantic and easy to follow, and there's a legend on almost every page, so you don't have to flick around and look for your colors, and it's really beautifully produced. I'd like to just collect all of her charts. They're so gorgeous. Okay, and then on eBay I picked up the Jennings Band sampler, which is by Scarlet Letter, and this is a reproduction from, I believe, 1695, and it's your typical English band sampler. Let's see if I can get it to focus. Here, I don't know, here, there we go. It's got like the bands up here with all the different intricate stitches, and then this area of white work there, which I love white work, and I love doing all these intricate stitches as well. It's really, I love this kind of thing. So I saw that I've wanted this chart for so long, and I saw it on eBay for a good price, so I grabbed it up, and someday. What I like about it is for a sampler of this period, it's pretty small. Usually they're really long bands and take like a year out of your life to stitch, but this one is pretty, it's not too big. So I feel like I could actually finish it in some time in my lifetime. Okay, and then another thing I acquired was I was watching Michelle at the Striped Rose, and she had shown her finished chart, or her finished sampler called A Man of Sense, which was designed by Sheepish Designs, and I've loved Sheepish for years too. And but somehow I missed this one, I think because it was in a magazine, and when I saw Michelle's, I had to have it, and so I went online and I found it on eBay. So this is actually a pattern that somebody pulled out of a magazine, so that's what I bought. It's got the whole pattern and everything. I love this sampler. And it's, the little saying is, what is it? When in love I do commence, I hope it will be with a man of sense. I love that. May it be with a man of sense. Anyway, so I want to do this. And when Michelle did hers, the whole grassy part in the bottom she did in Bargello, I believe. That was the one. And so I want to do that too. I love that. So anyway, yeah, got that. Kitted it all up. Kitted this one up for Stitch Mania, and then I never put a single stitch in at all. But it is kitted and ready to go, so when I get a chance, instead I did the embroideress. I went to town on that one. Okay, and so while I'm talking about reproductions, which I do love Reproduction samplers very much. I'll show you some of the ones. Well, this isn't a reproduction. I don't know what I'm talking about. This isn't a reproduction. This is a design by Darlene Osteen, who reproduced and taught. She has this famous book, The Proper Stitch, and she was one of the early people that was teaching how to do all of the intricate sampler stitches, and I think she did reproductions, I'm not sure, but she designed things that were in the, you know, same style as the reproductions. So this is called the Pink Sampler. I love this, and I have a start on this, and I'll show you. I'd love to finish it. It's really long. It's more like the traditional samplers from that era, from the early English era. They're really, really long. See, look at the fabric. It's really long. But anyway, here's what I have started. I've got a couple of bands here started. Let's see if I can get... Isn't that pretty? It's got like the white work bands in between all of the other really pretty bands. So that's my start. Hope to finish that someday. It's a pretty one. I really like it. Every once in a while I take it out and just put a few stitches in. And then I think I said before that when Nicola was doing her Scarlet Letter Year, the one that I chose to do is called the Unicorn Sampler. And here's what it looks like. It's a Scarlet Letter chart, obviously. This is from 1660. It's really called MD 1660, but it has this unicorn white work, cut work piece. So it's known as the Unicorn Sampler. And I'll show you my start on it. I have this much done. Here, I gotta put something behind it so you can see the unicorn. So I've done the unicorn and that part of the cut work. And then there's more cut work down here, which I pulled the threads out, but I just have to put the motif in. And then I've got some of the bands done and the alphabet and stuff. But isn't that cool? So I hope to get back to this someday. I think when I retire, and I'll just stitch whatever I want. That'll be really fun. I won't have to stitch models anymore. Although I love stitching models too. I'm torn because I really am a stitcher, and I love stitching everybody's designs. I'm inspired by all kinds of designs and sampler charts and reproductions, but I have to stitch my models, and I do enjoy stitching my models. They're easier because I know where I'm going, you know, so I don't have to, I have to follow the chart, but I'm so familiar with the chart, it's easier. I find it easier, especially if it's, you know, if there's a motif or something with a lot of different color changes or something. When it's my own motif, it's really easy to stitch that. It goes faster than usual. And then I just thought I would show you a couple of kits that I own. I used to belong to what was called the Lake Michigan Sampler Guild, and I'm pretty sure they're still going. I know they're still going. I just can't belong to them because they meet on a day that I'm not available. But a couple of years ago, I took a class from Joanne Harvey, and I just wanted to show you. This is called the Betsy Davis Sampler. So this was one that she taught, and this whole band right here, that's all surface embroidery, so it's not counted, which I enjoy. I don't know if I have even a start on this or not. I think I just have, yeah, I just have the fabric ready. Never even got a start. That's how classes are. You don't get much really done. But I did want to show, she teaches how to plait or braid your floss. And I do love this. When I have time, I do this. So you take all of the DMC in a skein and you cut it at one end. So you open it up so it's one big loop, and then you cut it at one end, and then you braid it. And when you go to use it, you can pull it from the top. You can just pull it right out. I'm not going to do it, but you can pull it right out, and it's the perfect length for stitching. And it's like a really handy little way to keep all of your threads. And so she like taught us all how to do that. So at least for this project, all of the threads are plaited like that, or braided. Oops. I'll show you a bunch of them. Makes it easy when you go to stitch with them to just pull them out the top. I do like to do that, but a lot of times I'm in too much of a hurry and I just go get started. So that's Betsy Davis. And then I also bought or took this class from her, and this is when she gives you a kit for one of her really big projects. These kits are amazing. First of all, they come in this beautiful box. So this was Elizabeth Taylor, and I have the fabric for this. It's gigantic. It's huge. It's like 2 feet by 3 feet or something. So you get the whole history of the sampler all written up. You get a gigantic chart to work from. You get all kinds of instruction sheets for how to do the stitches. You get a doodle cloth. So you get a little ruler, a little thing to put on the back of your framed piece. Let's see. There's needles in there. You get a chart guide, so she tells you like what to work first when you're working through the chart. Here's all the chart. And then look at those beautiful, it's DMC, but they look like silk. I don't know what the deal is, but for some reason maybe she buys them on the cones, or I don't know, but they have this beautiful sheen. They're gorgeous. Look at that. And it's all ready to go, all plated for you, and isn't that awesome? So someday, I'll open that up and it's all there ready. Hopefully I won't lose the fabric. I have that somewhere. Anyway, so that's Joanne Harvey. Try to get all this put back together. And here's the beautiful box that comes in. Isn't it beautiful? It's awesome. Anyway, I think that's about all I have today. Yeah, I think that's it. So thanks for hanging in there, and thanks for coming back after such a long, space in between. I'll try to make my videos more often so I don't have so much to cram in there. And yeah, and I just wanted to say too how much I enjoy all of your videos. I really have been keeping up with all of my favorite people, and I feel like I'm discovering new people almost every week, and so Flosstube just moves on to be an awesome place for us stitchers to, get to know other stitchers and see what other people are doing and all that kind of thing. So it's been really fun. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye!